There comes a moment in every life when the weight of the world feels heavier than anything you have ever carried, a moment when you wake up and wonder if you can face another day because the storm has shattered everything you thought was unshakable. And in that silence, in that pain, you ask yourself, why me? Why now? Will I ever rise again? I want you to know, if you are in that season, you are not alone. Life breaks all of us in different ways. Sometimes through failure, sometimes through loss, sometimes through betrayal. But here's the truth most people don't realize. It's not the breaking that defines you, it's what you do next. Brokenness is not your ending. It's the invitation to a new beginning. So today I ask you to stay with me, because in the next few minutes I am going to show you why the very moments that threaten to destroy you are the same moments that can shape you into someone unstoppable. If you've ever felt defeated, if you've ever questioned your strength, this message is for you. And if you listen to it until the very end, I promise, you will never see your pain the same way again. When life breaks you, it feels final. It feels like something inside of you has been taken away, something that you may never get back. The truth is, pain has a way of making us believe that this is the end of our story. But what I've learned, and what I want you to carry with you today, is that pain is not the end. It is the beginning. Every time life pushes you to the ground, every time you are brought to your knees, there lies an opportunity to rise in a way you never thought possible. Think about the moments in your life when everything was easy, when things were comfortable, predictable, and safe. Did you grow then? Did you stretch? Did you discover the depth of your strength? The answer is no. Comfort may feel good, but it does not shape you. It is in the breaking, in the moments when you feel like you have lost everything, that the seeds of transformation are planted. Pain forces you to confront the parts of yourself you never wanted to face. It strips away what is false, what is fragile, and it reveals what is unshakable. When you're broken, you see the world differently. You begin to notice who truly stands by you. You begin to realize what actually matters and what never did. Pain simplifies life in a way that comfort cannot. It demands that you let go of what weighs you down and cling to what will lift you higher. And yes, it hurts. It feels unfair. It feels like the ground beneath you has disappeared. But if you lean into that pain instead of running from it, you will find a strength that comfort could never have given you. I know some of you may be sitting here right now, carrying heartbreak, carrying loss, carrying a weight that no one else can see. And maybe you've said to yourself, I can't take this anymore, I am done. But let me tell you something. The fact that you are here listening to these words proves that you are stronger than the pain that tried to break you. You are still standing, and if you are still standing, your story is not over. The people who achieve greatness in life, who inspire others, who leave legacies behind, are never the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who walked through the fire, who carried scars, who fell to the ground and got back up again. Their strength didn't come from comfort, it came from pain. And that is why I believe that the breaking you are experiencing is not your final chapter. It is the opening line of a new one. What pain does is it exposes your capacity. You don't know how strong you are until strength is your only option. You don't know how resilient your heart can be until it has been broken. You don't know the depth of your faith until life gives you no choice but to lean on it. Pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to introduce you to the strongest version of yourself. And I want you to remember something. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. The most powerful forces of nature are born out of struggle. Why would you, as a human being, be any different? If nature itself requires breaking and pressure to create beauty and strength, then understand that the same applies to your life. The pressure you feel today is shaping you into someone who will shine brighter tomorrow. But the choice is yours. Pain alone doesn't make you stronger. It's what you decide to do with it that matters. You can let it define you, confine you, or you can let it refine you. You can let it crush your spirit, or you can let it carve out the strongest parts of who you are. That decision is made in the quiet moments when no one is watching. When you choose to take one more step, when you decide not to quit, when you whisper to yourself, "This will not be the end of me." So if you are in that place right now, if life has broken you, I want you to see this moment for what it really is. Not a conclusion, but a beginning. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And what is planted, if nourished, will grow into something even greater than what was lost. This is not the end. This is where your new story begins. When life breaks you, one of the hardest truths to accept is that you cannot control everything that happens to you. You cannot stop the storms from coming. You cannot prevent betrayal, failure, or loss. And sometimes the weight of those moments feels unbearable because they remind us of how little control we truly have. But here's what you can always control: how you choose to respond. That choice will determine whether the pain you are facing becomes the anchor that keeps you down or the fuel that pushes you forward. So many people spend their lives trapped in suffering because they confuse pain with permanence. They believe that if they are hurt, they must remain hurt. If they are broken, they must remain broken. But suffering is not automatic. It is a decision. Pain is given to us all. Suffering is what happens when we choose to live inside that pain instead of rising beyond it. The same event that destroys one person can awaken greatness in another, simply because of the choice they make in their response. You can choose to let heartbreak make you bitter, or you can choose to let it teach you compassion. You can choose to let failure convince you to give up, or you can choose to let it refine your strategy and make you sharper. You can choose to let loss make you empty, or you can choose to let it remind you to cherish every single moment you still have. It is never the event itself that defines your destiny. It is your response. I have seen people who had every reason to give up, every reason to stop trying, and yet they made the choice to stand tall anyway. They did not allow their pain to paralyze them. They allowed it to propel them. That is the power of response. It transforms what was meant to break you into the very thing that builds you. And the truth is, the strongest people you know are not the ones who have never been broken. They are the ones who were broken, who had every reason to stay down, but chose instead to rise again. It's easy to look at someone who is strong and admire their resilience without realizing the private battles they fought to get there. Strength is not inherited, it is built. And it is built in those moments when you have to decide, will I allow this pain to consume me, or will I allow it to shape me into someone unshakable? Think about it. Every single one of us has faced something we thought we couldn't handle. Yet here we are. You've already survived your hardest days. You've already lived through nights you thought would never end. You've already proven that you are capable of more than you ever believed. So when the next storm comes, and it will, you have a choice to make. Will you let it defeat you, or will you let it define you in a new and greater way? The danger is not in being broken. The danger is in staying broken. Life will test you, but you cannot allow yourself to become a prisoner of what happened to you. You have to rise with the understanding that while you may not control the pain, you do control the meaning you give it. And meaning is powerful. Meaning turns wounds into wisdom. Meaning turns setbacks into setups for comebacks. Meaning transforms victims into victors. Every choice you make in response to pain is like a brick. You are either building a wall around yourself that keeps you stuck, or you are building a foundation beneath yourself that allows you to rise higher. And when you begin to see that, you realize that pain is not just something you survive. It's something you can use. It's not about ignoring the pain. It's not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about acknowledging it, facing it, and then deciding that it will not be the place where you stop. Yes, life broke you, but it does not get the final say. The final say belongs to the choice you make right now, in this very moment. So when pain knocks at your door, when loss takes something from you, when betrayal wounds your heart, remember this. You may not get to choose what happens, but you always get to choose who you become because of it, and that choice, more than anything else, will shape the story of your life. You cannot always control the storm, but you can always control your sail. When life breaks you, it can feel like the world has no use for your pain, as if the wounds you carry are private burdens that no one else could possibly understand. But what if I told you that the very pain you've endured, the very moments you thought would destroy you, can be transformed into a purpose greater than yourself? What if your story of brokenness could become the light that helps someone else find their way out of the darkness? That is the hidden power inside every trial. You can take what once crushed you and turn it into something that heals. So many people live believing their scars are something to hide, that their failures or heartbreak make them unworthy of being seen. But scars are not proof of weakness. They are evidence of survival. They are reminders that you went to war with life itself, and you are still standing. And when you share those scars, when you open your heart and allow others to see the journey, you create a bridge for someone else who is silently struggling. You show them that they are not alone and that survival is possible. Every single person in this room has walked through something that could break another soul. Yet here you are. Do you understand the power in that? You carry within you the ability to stand as proof for someone who is still in their valley. Maybe your story will become the reason another person doesn't give up. Maybe your resilience will become the fuel that reignites another heart. That is not by accident, that is purpose. Turning brokenness into purpose doesn't mean pretending the pain never happened. It means refusing to let that pain go to waste. It means saying, if I had to go through this, then I will not let it end with me. I will use it to lift others higher. Maybe you lost someone you loved and it shattered you, but now you are the person who understands grief in a way others cannot, and your compassion becomes their comfort. Maybe you failed in a dream and felt humiliated, but now your persistence becomes someone else's courage to try again. Maybe you were betrayed and broken-hearted, but now your healing becomes proof that love is still possible. You see, pain has a strange way of making us feel small, but when we share it, it has the power to expand beyond us. It turns into connection, it turns into wisdom, it turns into strength that multiplies. The things you once thought disqualified you from greatness may actually be the very things that qualify you to inspire. Your cracks are not the end of your story. They are the openings where your light shines through. And this is where life comes full circle. Because when you've been broken and you rise again, you no longer rise just for yourself. You rise for everyone who will one day look at you and say, if they made it, I can too. You rise for the person who is drowning in the same storm you once faced. You rise for the person who has no voice, no hope, no strength to fight until they see you and realize they can fight again. So don't run from your story. Don't be ashamed of what broke you. Don't hide the chapters you wish had never been written, because those very chapters may be the ones that give someone else the courage to keep writing their own. What once felt like a curse can become the very thing that crowns you with purpose. And purpose is what transforms pain into power. Purpose gives meaning to suffering. Purpose gives you the strength to endure not only for yourself, but for others. When you begin to see your struggles through the lens of purpose, you no longer view them as wasted years or wasted tears. You see them as the foundation for everything you were always meant to be. Your pain does not define you, but what you do with it will. You have the ability to turn your wounds into wisdom, your scars into stories, your heartbreak into healing. And in doing so, you will not only rebuild your own life, but you will help rebuild the lives of others who had almost given up hope. The breaking you endured was never meant to end you. It was meant to prepare you to be a light for someone else. Your brokenness is your assignment. Turn it into purpose. When life breaks you, it may feel like nothing can ever be whole again. The pieces of who you once were lie scattered, and the thought of rebuilding feels impossible. But what you may not realize in that moment is that breaking is not the end of your story. It's the chance to rebuild into something stronger, sharper, and more resilient than you ever imagined. Just as muscles only grow through the process of tearing and repairing, your spirit expands when it is forced to heal. What feels like destruction today may one day be revealed as the very foundation of your strength. Think about the times when you have faced challenges and come out on the other side. You weren't the same person anymore. You were wiser, more careful with your energy, more intentional with your decisions. Pain has a way of teaching lessons that comfort never could. When you rebuild after being broken, you no longer build with the fragile material you once had. You build with awareness. You build with courage. You build with scars that remind you of what you've survived, and those scars become armor. The truth is, no one ever becomes unshakable by avoiding pain. They become unshakable by walking through it and choosing to rise from it. Every time you rebuild after a setback, you don't just return to where you were. You rise higher because you've carried forward the strength of the struggle. The cracks in your story don't make you weaker. They are proof that you've endured. And when you endure, you gain a confidence that no one can take away from you. Rebuilding isn't about becoming who you were before. That person no longer exists. Rebuilding is about becoming someone new, someone who has depth and resilience because of what they've endured. It is about choosing not to let the breaking define you as broken, but instead allowing it to define you as unshakable. Imagine a building that has been destroyed by a storm. When it is rebuilt, it isn't built with the same weak structure. It is built with stronger foundations, reinforced walls, and better design. The same is true of you. When you rise after being broken, you carry with you the memory of pain, but also the wisdom to avoid what no longer serves you. You learn to protect your peace. You learn to stand firm in your values. You learn to stop apologizing for being strong. Life teaches you through breaking that you were never meant to stay fragile. You were meant to grow through the cracks and build something indestructible within yourself. I know the process of rebuilding can feel lonely. It can feel like you're piecing together a puzzle without knowing what the picture will look like in the end. But trust this, every small effort to stand again, every choice to keep going, every moment where you whisper to yourself, "I will not quit," is part of the reconstruction. You may not see it now, but one day you will look back and realize that what broke you became the very reason you became unstoppable. And what's powerful is that once you rebuild, you are no longer afraid of being broken again. You realize that even if life knocks you down, you have the strength to rise. That realization changes everything. Fear loses its grip on you because you know that nothing has the power to keep you down permanently. You've done it once and you can do it again. That knowledge makes you dangerous to defeat. It makes you free. So, when life breaks you, don't waste time trying to go back to who you were. You were never meant to go back. You were meant to go forward. Rebuild with the strength you didn't know you had. Rebuild with the wisdom pain gave you. Rebuild with the understanding that the cracks in your story are not weaknesses. They are proof that you are still here. They are proof that nothing has been able to destroy you completely. This is the gift of rebuilding. You no longer live with illusions of fragility. You live with the certainty that you are stronger than anything life can throw at you. And when you stand tall again, when you rebuild yourself from the ashes of your pain, you carry with you a new kind of power. The power of someone who has been tested and who will never be the same again. You are not weaker because you were broken. You are stronger because you chose to rebuild.